Well, Dorset Fire and Rescue Service are really proud to be a partner in Dorset Road Safe. The NoExcuse campaign is aimed at reducing a number of deaths and injury on our roads, and anything that we can do to help that, to stop my crews having to meet the people on the roads. We really don't want to meet you. We want to make our roads safe and people enjoy Dorset and the roads of Dorset. It's about being safe, being aware of safety and driving safely on our roads.
Probably the worst accident that I've ever been to was quite a few years ago now. We were called to a local road and the only information we were given, because of the time of call to the time of scene was 2 minutes for us, was that a car was on its roof. Unknown age, unknown anything. As we turned the corner, it was just a scene out of a movie. There was probably about 20, 30 people walking towards us, blood pouring down them, and then there was a car on its roof. People screaming, but even before the ambulance was there and stopped, the door was opened, I was being pulled out. It was a very scary experience. And we had all these casualties, and the one person we went to was the one person that wasn't making any noise, and that was the driver, who was currently in the parcel shelf of the car. He was face down. The fire service quickly turned up and obviously couldn't cut the roof off because the car was on its roof. So we struggled between us to get him out. The passenger was 18 also. He was thrown, because he wasn't wearing a seatbelt, thrown from the window, and he was actually nowhere to be found initially. He was behind a wall. So we went over to him, he was unconscious. So now we've got two potentially serious life-threatening patients with one ambulance. We had to then ask for a police escort for our patient who was taken in, who turned out to be the least injured. He had a dislocated thumb, but he was unconscious. His friend, who was also 18, suffered a severe brain injury and now requires 24-hour care. There was a young lady on scene who was 19. She was pregnant. She lost her baby. What had happened is all the cars were lined up watching this racing going on, and as the car came up in excess of speed, it hit the curb, flipped over and landed on the cars that were parked up on the side. So incidentally, that's how all the injuries occurred. I very nearly gave my job up after that because of the horror of it all. Thankfully didn't, and carried on.
Between the ages of 1 and 44, more people are killed, more people are injured by trauma than any other single cause. Within that, road traffic collisions is the biggest single element, and they're avoidable. That's not just a statistic. This is people killed, dead. It's also the suffering, the pain, the guilt that goes with it.
I'm here at Kingston Ward for the launch of the No Excuse campaign. This is a really powerful campaign. It's the hardest hitting, the biggest that we've ever done. We need to reduce the number of people killed and seriously injured on Dorset's roads, and we need to find a novel way of doing that. We need additional enforcement, and we need good high profile, hard hitting publicity. Most crashes on Dorset's roads are as a result of human error. It isn't the fault of the road, it is about people doing things that they shouldn't do. The whole community in Dorset has a responsibility for road safety. The way this is going to happen is that we're going to be rerunning this project for a whole year with high profile additional enforcement, overt and covert policing, backed up with some really powerful publicity and advertising. The police patrols that will be out most days, and they will be targeting specific routes that we know where there are crashes and specific behaviours.
Dorset Police will be providing an enforcement team comprising a sergeant and 5 constables, and they will be dedicated to enforcement of road traffic offences of the nature that are likely to lead to people being killed and seriously injured on our roads. Later on, you'll be seeing a clip of the consequences of the sort of collisions that we have within Dorset, where fire and rescue do a simulated rescue from crashed vehicles.
We need to be looking at young drivers and at motorcyclists, some older drivers as well, and business drivers. They are the key groups that will be the focus, and we believe that with all the support of our partners, we can make this happen.
Okay, various situations can unfold. We'll be first on scene. It might be the case that the police are first on scene. It might be the case that the paramedics are first. The first thing we would have to do is manage that traffic. If the traffic was still moving, all right, that's quite a hazard to us. This is effectively now our workplace. We have to conduct a risk assessment on our workplace and see where our risks are. So we need to stabilise that vehicle to make it nice and strong. You'll see there Tim, our guy on the floor with the white helmet and the green stripe. He's there and he's straight away, he's in. His primary concern is the casualty. He's assessing that casualty and he'll make that call straight away to the officer in charge. Do we need a rapid extrication or do we need a controlled release?
Still stabilise the side.
As you see, the IC then, he's made his assessment, he's gone round, he's done his risk assessment, and that's his sole job really, is to carry out that risk assessment. He's responsible for all his staff, he's got to keep them safe, and they all need to go home injury free. So he does his risk assessment, he's formulated a plan in his head, okay, and then he takes them back, as you just saw, he takes them to a side, gives them a quick brief. Okay guys, this is what I need. If you're a casualty in the car, obviously you're in quite a stress situation as it is, so what we try and do, we try and have a teach our firefighters. Firefighters aren't always the best people at it, but we do try and have a good bedside manner.
There'll be a loud bang now, as they can take the rear windscreen out.
Glass break it out the way.
Break it glass,
top of it, knock it out.
Okay, your eyes are closed, yeah? Okay? Alright, Jake? He's okay? Good work, guys, keep it going.
There's lines that you can see, top of the car, danger petrol, battery line. And we talk about a risk assessment. This is our workplace, we have to risk assessment. We're going to get the equipment there for the roof, that's our volume. Again, ladies, it's nice to be quiet. You can imagine the difference between the left post in the circle. He wants it out, he wants it clear. When we're in it, we start lifting the casualty.
Right, go left sharp so we can't come out, please.
We bend over, got to keep this brief hazard. Okay,
I want to slide him out onto our platform and then onto the board.
Ready, set, slide. Ready, set, slide. Ready, set, slide. Stop there.
Over there, stretcher.
Over there. Right. Ready, set, lift.
And obviously assist the police with any investigation that we can. One of the problems that we've got, obviously if the police want to investigate this incident,
And down.
now considerably disturb their
Go over, Tim.
Okay,
right. So
right.
if we can,
do a quick
count out. Can we have a quick safety check?
trolley stretcher into the back of the
look to your
ambulance
left.
and off to hospital. So that
Slowly,
was, I'll make
look
that
to your
about
right,
18
slowly.
minutes. Is that right?